Well, guys, I did not plan to stream at all today. was spending time with my family. I actually watched, I just want to give a shout out to Theory Forge, the Ashen Forge, my boy Phantom X, Diggs, Legendary Neurotoxin. I thought they did actually really good on their interview with Steven. And he basically said that tomorrow they were going to lift the verbal NDA. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, maybe I'll try to make a video tonight or whatever. And then he just posted right now on Discord that verbal NDA is lifted as of right now. So I was like, okay, well, guys, I haven't been able to tell you because I was under NDA because I've actually been testing. Yes, me, Ashes of Creation, me. I actually was able to get into the test. I have not been testing long. Let me also preface, the only reason why I even got in the first place is because I am not an Alpha 1 tester. I was not in Alpha 1 at all. You guys know that. The only reason why I was in this testing is because after my interview with Steven, I just said to him, if you need another dedicated tester for your current testing, I am here. And he said, I got you, bro. And then I was in. I freaked out like a freaking 16-year-old schoolgirl that just got asked by her date of choice at the prom or whatever, right? I just freaked out. So let me start off by giving you guys like my impression on just ask the CEO. Simple. Exactly. That's what I did. I mean, of course, I bought my pre-order pack. I bought that back in 2021, but I've been testing this stuff, and I kind of wanted to show you this video to kind of give you guys context. So this is literally like, this is right where you spawn. Like, you spawn in to Lion's Hold, and you'll see this whole veranda here. I'm going to minimize it. This right here is the first thing you're going to grind up to level 2. So you're going to kill mobs here in this area. You're going to have, there's a whole bunch of goblins that are running over here. There's guards killing them, all that other stuff. But yeah, basically you'll want to grind this to like, let's say level 2 or whatever. Now the grind in Ashes is real. I've played Ashes one night on a new tune for almost 5.5, like almost 6 hours, and I got up to level 6. So just to kind of show you, like, this is, and again, the real grind happens after level 10. Like solo. This was all solo, mind you. This was not in a group at all. I know there's a lot of metas right now, or not metas, but there's a lot of people that are grinding certain spots that are like, really lucrative as far as XP goes. And I was talking to Roar, I was talking to some other people like, that are currently in testing. I don't think people understand what testing is. Now, the reason why it took me as long to get to level 6 is because I've been trying to repeat and echo certain bugs that I found if I can replicate the situation again. There's many people that are currently in the pre-alpha testing that aren't testing. They are literally trying to play Ashes of Creation. They are trying to optimally go from grind spot to grind spot, get as best gear as possible. And while that is can be considered like testing, because they are like, utilizing the leveling experience, they're playing with abilities or whatever. I just don't know if that's really conducive, because they want us to talk, or they want us to do certain game loops like repeatedly. And so let me see, an hour a level is pretty reasonable at a low level. Well, you go from level 1 to level 2 pretty quickly. Like, I would say within a couple of minutes. But the scaling, like, once you start going and trying to grind, it takes a while. Now, mind you, during my 5.5, almost 6 hours of playing, my intent wasn't focused on trying to get my character as fastly leveled as possible. That was not my intent at all. I'm going to let this kind of video play out, and I'll kind of talk when I see some things. So it doesn't surprise me at all from a former QA having done the game test cycle before. Yeah, when it comes to me specifically, I was very impressed with the fluidity of rotation. For me, as someone who really I really want the combat and when you push a button, how responsive it is towards the game client. It's very responsive. I was really happy with that. Like when I hit, and I was, mind you, I was playing a fighter. Fighter to me feels really good. It feels really, really good, actually. I do have to say, action mode is rough. And I've said this too. I now actually playing the game, I don't think basic attacks should be even placed in action mode. I really truly don't. I think because even in tab target as a fighter, my basic attacks still cleave to other mobs if they're near me. I don't need to be in action mode to have my blade cleave, okay? But action just doesn't feel good when it comes to rotational abilities. Right now we have here, I'm gonna an ad was about to come in. I just snoozed it. So I think honestly basic attacks just should be the best version of tab target. I know that might piss off a lot of people that are very wanting to be action focused, but I've always said I'm not trying to take action away from this game. Action should be better focused and better served within the class abilities, not basic attacks. The class abilities should be very action focused. Now, mind you, as a fighter, I can whiff on one of my abilities. I really can. Like I can hit my you know, a certain ability like maim and whiff on it completely. I missed. I totally wasted that 20-second cooldown. And I think that's where the true skill comes in. The skill for me doesn't really apply at the basic attack level. Like, let me just be like as super clear as possible. Imagine Steven saying we'll probably drop NDA money, so we keep an eye out only to drop it a few minutes later. Well, I was really shocked when he did that on Discord, because I saw Jamie go live, because I was hanging out with my wife. She's been cleaning a lot today. I've been actually taking care of the kiddo in the living room. And yeah, I was really shocked, and I was like, oh my God, okay, well, let me see if I can go live too and talk about my experience. So, but yes, you actually get a mount really early, which I was very happy with. You actually get a mount, like once you do a couple of quests, you'll get a mount within the first 10 minutes of playing. Super fast, super duper fast. Now, let that not scare people that are like, oh, but wouldn't that ruin the exploration? No. The Riverlands is fucking huge. I always knew that it was going to be huge, but once I got into the game, it was verbal NDA. Why are you streaming? I'm not streaming. This is literally the Alpha 2 Lionhold preview from Ashes of Creation. I'm just having this in the background to kind of serve as a little bit of footage or whatever, right? So this is not me streaming Ashes of Creation. This is literally, it even says GM Steven, so it's not me. So that was kind of the thing that really, really shocked me, was just how big this game is. It is huge. And with a mount, it still feels really big. But man, the game, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Are there visual like problems with the game? Yes. Are there like visual glitches with the game? Yes. But god dang, when it is working, man, beautiful. Just beautiful. They already lifted NDA. Yes, they lifted verbal NDA. I want to be as clear as possible. This is verbal NDA that was lifted. Actually, let me do this real quick. I know this is going to be so... Just because I know people are going to be entering the stream and stuff like that. Okay. So yeah, what else? So here's the thing. Right now there isn't a lot of quests. Shocker, right? It's an alpha. It's a testing bed, right? There isn't not visual NDA, just verbal. Again, what I am showing right now is Steven playing this game. This is not me streaming. I want to be very, very clear. How long does it take to travel the map? On horse? I mean, I haven't really trekked it, but just me going from like certain locations, it'll take me almost like 10 minutes to get to a certain spot. Like it's big. Traveling in this game truly matters. Now, the other thing right now, that let me see, how does movement feel compared to other MMOs? I think movement still needs some work. I don't think movement is terrible, but is it as responsive as other MMOs, like other very polished MMOs? I think it's getting there. I think it's probably like 90% there. And I think as a test that is still years away from actual release, it's pretty nice that we're 90% there, because realistically we can be 50% there, you know, and struggle bus up until we get to 90% like years down the road. But the fact that we're literally like years away is very, very good. Size and travel distance matters. Yes, dude. It does. It definitely does. The other thing too is, and this is something that you can clearly see here. Can you really read the text? Like, if you were here and I pause it and you were just right here on your back, could you read it without squinting? This is something that I literally, when I'm playing the game, the text is so freaking small. Now, there is a setting where you can actually adjust this, okay? But then it basically exacerbates like everything, like every other window becomes bigger. Like and it looks so weird, right? There isn't just a spot to just make the text bigger without making the boxes bigger too. Well, for some things, like the last 10% is like the original 90 in polishing. Yes, exactly. Like the 10% is always the hardest to actually get right and nail. But the fact that we're at this point, I'm really comfortable with the movement. I mean, again, to me, it's nitpicky shit, really. Like, I don't think there's fundamental flaws in movement. Let me say this, because there's going to be an ad break in about 20 seconds. So I'm going to use the bathroom when that happens, just so that way people don't feel like they're missing out on what I'm saying. But yes, it still needs some polish and stuff like that. But I will, as about to start, I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick, and then I'll talk about a little bit about the fighter and its abilities. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Are people back now? Abudal's Smod 50. Dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. I'm so sorry if I didn't say anything earlier. Apologies, but I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. I'm a bit sad we didn't get the character creator early so we can have that to play with. I'm going to be joining on the 8th, so how buggy have you're experiencing and how much better has it gotten since you started testing? Okay, let me answer the first question first. Guys, the character creator, at least the ones that we are playing with, it is still very basic. Like, if you go back and look at the updated character creator showcase, we do have those things. Like, but I think there's still a lot to be done on the character creator side. A lot. That we still have gotten super, like, there's only a couple of hairstyles. I think honestly, if they released the character creator in the state that we're currently playing in, I think people would have been upset. But again, it's testing. There's still a lot more to work with. There's still a lot more to do. So that's kind of my answer there. Now, how buggy has my experience been? Oh man. So I've only been in since I've talked to Steven. So maybe like a week, right? Cause my interview with Steven was last week and I got into the test, cause I talked to him on Saturday. I got in on Tuesday. So I've only been testing for like a week. So, the very first test, I was falling through so like right here, like I literally walked from this part where the commission board is. I think this is where the commission board is. Like over to the thing, and I fell through the world. And I tried to replicate it again. I didn't fall through the world, but then I was just walking along the river and then I fell through the world again. So I don't know if there's something wrong with the river during that particular test, but then when they updated it, and that's the other thing too I want to talk about. I know I'm so scatterbrained right now and I really apologize, but I have so many thoughts on my experience. I don't want to forget it. So I just want to say it when I remember it. The communication from Intrepid has been amazing. I have been really enjoying the amount of back and forth in chats from CMs, from developers, from Steven himself. Like, if you wanted to play a game where you can leave feedback and you feel listened to, this is the fucking project right here, dude. Like, oh my God, as someone who played Blizzard games for a long fucking time, this company really values your feedback. Like, you know, it's been awesome. Planadorf, who's in chat, you know, our boy Nathan, he's one of the producers in Ashes of Creation. He played with me. Me and Nathan were playing Ashes of Creation together. And I was chatting with him about my experience, and I was telling him like how I felt about certain systems and how I did this and how I did that. Super awesome dude. Oh my God. Like, just, they're all passionate people. And I think that if you are someone who truly cares about wanting to shape a game and are worried about, is this company going to listen? Is this company hearing what I am saying? Yes, they are. Now, that does not mean that everything you say, they're just going to implement because you said it, right? It's super duper unrealistic. I don't expect any company to do that. And I think if they do that, they don't have a true vision, personally. You see, Junie DL, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. And welcome to the stream, man. You see, I've heard the team has been taking good at patching things fast. Yes, that's another thing too. When there's major bugs, they have no problem telling everybody in the PTR or in the alpha test, hey, we're going to shut the server down. We found a major flaw, and we're going to restart servers in a few minutes. And they do exactly that. Like, I'm telling you, man, this is what you want. Think about every early access game. Think about every time you saw a YouTube video of a YouTuber or a streamer playing an early access game, leaving feedback, and you absolutely hear nothing from the developers, nothing from the company until weeks or months later, and then they're finding out about it like it's this thing that they just tuned into. That's not Intrepid Studios, dude. They are so close to they have their ears to the ground, listening and literally playing alongside. Like, the developers are playing their own game. Like, this is like, you know, we always say, like, are the developers even playing their own game? They are. They absolutely are. And I think that's what makes this particular playtest, not only for me as someone who's truly wanting to test this game, I'm just more invested, because anytime you have a boss, and I've said this story before, Snake and Snake, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. Anytime you're working at a company and the boss is working alongside with you, doing the same things you are, and aren't demeaned by those things, even though they're the manager or your boss, you always kind of work harder, you know, or if not harder, at least you respect your boss more because they're working alongside you. That's how I feel in this, because here I am repeatedly trying to do these events, repeatedly trying to do these quests, making new characters, seeing if it works, or if my bug comes off on these new, on this, you know, new thing, and seeing, you know, Fupo inside, seeing, you know, Planetdorf inside, seeing, you know, other developers inside, seeing, you know, Steven inside the game. Like, it makes you feel good. You know what I mean? That they aren't just off basking in some office, kind of leaving it to the plebs, right? That they're working alongside us, man. And that makes it feel really freaking good. They are so quick at updating and patching bugs. Yes, definitely. I got to play with Nathan for a bit, and he was asking me how things felt and if I experienced bugs. Yeah, I know. He was doing the same thing with me, man. Like, it was great. It was so, so great. Let me see. NDA. Yes, verbal NDA has been lifted. And again, for people that aren't tuning in, this is a YouTube video from Ashes of Creation. This is not me streaming the game. So I just wanted to have something in the background for people to kind of, so I can give my thoughts and stuff like that as things were in the background. The devs were watching us. I was scared. Yeah. Let me see. For one-handed weapons, are you able to do wilt them? So I could not, but honestly, I only tried once, and I don't think you can though. I don't think dual wielding is going to be there until phase 2. That's why I'm so hyped for Ash. The developers are so patient. Yeah, I think it just really hits me that the developers are so just working with the testers as much as possible. And again, like when you watch people like Pirate Software, when you watch people that know what they're talking about, like it makes me feel good that we have developers like these, because I think, and if we've always said that, oh, just let them cook, bro, imagine them cooking in this kind of a feedback loop for years. Bro, we are going to get the game that was promised to us 100%. And I know when I told my wife, you know, to the kind of company this is, and she was just telling me, she was like, wow, well, that's way better than what you always said Blizzard was. And they're a multi-billion-dollar company. And I was like, I know. It's sad, isn't it? Because I think they should be more so the case. Dual daggers is slated for phase 2. Yeah, again, I've only been playing with a two-handed sword, and two-handed sword on fighter feels really, really good. That's why I love to hear the confidence in your voice, man. Yeah, and again, let me also say, I've experienced crashes. I've experienced a bug where I had to uninstall the Intrepid launcher, reinstall it back. I've encountered things. I don't want to like romanticize this in the sense where it's been this super duper smooth playtest. The servers work amazingly. No, that's definitely not the case. And if you were to hear the test with Theory Forge right now, there's bugs like this too. If you saw what this guy was doing, there's like visual bugs that the NPCs are doing. There's also, you can also see where the dynamic gridding starts and ends too. So in this particular area, oh, let me also explain something real quick. Do you see this right here? Y'all see this particular monument right here that's kind of glowing? Whenever you enter into Lion's Hold, one of your first quests is to attune yourself to an area. When you attune yourself to an area, you have to visit these kinds of markers here. This marker has not been indicated yet. There is a marker for it now, okay? But you basically attune yourself. Now, I don't want to scare people. This is not for teleporting or anything like that. This isn't a Hearthstone by any means. What this does is that when you die anywhere in the world, so as an example, and I don't think they've showed the map at all, if you're 10 minutes away from Lion's Hold, like by mount, and you attuned yourself to Lion's Hold, when you die, the only way that you can res where your body is dead is if a cleric goes with you and reses you. If you resurrect yourself, you spawn right here. So yes. So if you're somewhere and your body's not near an attunement spot, you're fucked. Like you have to either haul your ass back to where you were, or yes, you actively attune to each point. Yes, like, so if you know you're going to be at a certain spot, you're going to be grinding somewhere, or you're going to be kind of testing some waters in certain places, find the closest attunement spot possible, because that's what those are for. Yes, attune yourself to Final Fantasy all the time. Yes, the only difference between Final Fantasy and this one is that you can actually port yourself to attunement spots. You can't do that here. All you're doing is, all these attunement stones are allowing you is to spawn when you're dead. That's it. You can't teleport there. You can't do anything there. Naked, do you spawn naked? So whenever you die, all of your pieces get deleted. You go back to level 1 and you're completely naked. That's how rough this game is, guys. Like, so you don't want to die. No, I'm totally joking, guys. That's not what happens to you. But imagine if that was what happened to you. No. That does not happen. Basically, when you die, I believe every time when I've died, you get an experience debt of 3%, which is super small. Like, you can actually earn that back relatively quickly. But as you start dying more often, right, the threshold can get quite high. Now, 3% at level 6 isn't really too bad, okay? 3% at level 12, it can be a little like, fuck. You know what I mean? It's not rough yet, but it's definitely rougher than at level 6, okay? Let me see, kind of like your Hearthstone area. Yes, it is basically kind of like your Hearthstone area. The only difference is that there is no Hearthstone and there is no teleporting to your attune spot. The only way you can get there is by dying. And dying isn't necessarily a good thing in this game, just like Steven said. So XP debt is purely to prevent people from throwing their bodies into a fight nonstop. Exactly. Now, where Firebrand was, this is a really good example right here. Let me keep playing. Where Firebrand is on the map, the closest attunement spot is pretty far. It's not close. And I think that's intentional. Because I think a way to prevent the Zerg is not to have a very close attunement spot to world bosses. And there clearly is not one near Firebrand. So if you and your guild want to go to Firebrand and you die, I think you're going to have to wait at that spot for more of your people to die to actually go back with a good group of people. Cisco58, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. And welcome. A2 is going to be rough. The feeling of A2 is, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I think it just depends on the kind of thing I also want to talk about commissions real quick. I think really it's about your frame of mind, and we see how much can people, how many people can I kill till I can drop gear if I die? So I can't answer that question about corruption because I have not tested the corruption system at all. I've been testing mostly the PvE, the event system, the commission board system, my class, my abilities, and that's mainly it. I have not been able to play for a lot of time. I have little spurts of time where I can play, but you know, with me and my wife and the kind of agreement that we set, the majority of the time that I was going to be allotted was going to be on weekends. And that weekend was going to start, of course, this coming weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Let me see. Do you think that some bosses will need a cleric dedicated to consistently rezzing of how we saw Steven do? Absolutely. I think clerics are going to be so paramount to having a successful, because again, if you died, you res like 10 minutes, 15 minutes away, like there's no way you're going to get back in any sort of time that's going to be conducive to your group. This interview with your first day mentioned that the first 2 weeks is going to be 100% a stress test. Don't expect much after that, or don't expect much more than that. Yes. I think it's going to be, wait, can you guys hear me? Yeah, you guys can hear me. Okay. Do you lose XP if you get rezzed? So I have not played with a cleric. Mostly all of my stuff has been solo. Now, from what Planetdorf has said, is that the intention is when you get res is to have a lesser effect of XP debt. I wouldn't say to completely remove it, but let's say if it's 3% if you res, you know, hit the res button. But if you get heal or get res by a cleric, it may be half of that, like 1.5% XP debt. I found a magical keybind that muted every Chrome tab, or Chrome decided to poop the bed. Okay, no problem. Hey Vladis, congrats on your guest interview with Steven. I was looking forward to your insights on Alpha 1. I would like to know if using different weapons on the same class really makes a big difference. So I've been using a two-handed sword, a longbow for my ranged, a short bow for my ranged, a tome for my ranged. I have not used a lot of different main-handed weapons, and mainly because I've been really giving feedback on each of the abilities and how they feel and their cooldowns associated with it, and also the basic attack. I don't know, and I've always said this, I don't know if the basic attack is going to be a favorite for people. And the reasoning why is because there's so much downtime. Like, the only way you can have that active downtime and is to basically not make your basic attack an auto attack. But it feels, in my opinion, really clunky to hit Q for your basic attack alongside your rotational keys. I don't know why. It doesn't feel good. Let me see, in terms of the world, is movement grounded? Is server responsive? Does anything feel wooden? For a better word, do you feel part of the world? Is the movement grounded? The movement feels good. I would say it's like it's a B+ for me. Is the server responsive? Server responsiveness, when the server is working, it is very responsive. When the server struggles, you feel the struggle. It's just like any other server, right? Like, you feel like when you're playing any good game, if the server's lagging, you feel the lag. When the server's working great, it works really great. Again, when the server's working as intended, it works really good. Does anything feel wooden? I think when it comes to certain mobs, the mob AI controller, and this is another bit of feedback that I've given, Sexagendrian gamer, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. I'm sure I butchered that, and I apologize. The mob controller still needs work. Planetdorf is aware of it. The devs are aware of it. I really hope that the mob controller can get fixed by next week, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I really wouldn't hold my breath. Right now, whenever you aggro a mob, like, so as an example, like if this was a mob, the mob will literally roll up to you and literally be right on top of you. Like, usually the mob will usually be like maybe like 3 feet away and start auto attacking. Most of the mobs that I encounter literally try to go directly on top of you, and then they don't do anything. There's some mobs that auto attack once every 7 seconds. There's some mobs that don't attack at all. I still think there's some problems with the AI controller. But once they get that fixed, I think it's going to be really good. When the mobs do work, I had 3 goblins on me, and I was like, oh, okay, they're probably not going to auto attack at all. And they were auto attacking, they were casting, they were doing their abilities. I died almost instantly. Like, this is a game where it's very reminiscent to me of classic WoW. You over aggro, you're dead. Like, especially when the mobs are working as intended. So to me, the wooden part of it is some of the AI or some of the mob AI, because they'll get stuck in certain animations. But other than that, like, when they work, they work. When they don't, they don't. Or just behind you runs through and you have to turn around. Yes. Oh my God. That's been another thing too. Like, mobs sometimes they kind of do what New World did. When I remember beta testing New World, one of the zombies I would attack, it would just run away from me, like sprint in the opposite direction and then sprint all the way back to me. I've only had that encountered once in Ashes, and it was one of the foothills guardmen or whatever. But yeah, it was it's very rare. Most of the time the mobs just come up to you and they will auto attack, but I would say it's like a 50-50. Like it's very hit and miss when that happens. Q is not good. I have a keyboard and where I added my my function 7 key as Q, and that works for me. Rebinding is needed to me. Yeah, I still personally feel like the basic attack is gonna go through several iterations personally. When you hit level 6, oh, let me also say this too, and I don't know if I'll be able to show it. Well, I can't show anything, but I want to show you something about the fighter, because I did a whole thing on let me just go to fighter skills. This is not in the alpha 2. They updated the talent tree. They updated the talent tree to ranger, to mage, to fighter. It very is reminiscent of the bard talent tree. Okay, so it's not this mess anymore. Thank God. It ain't this. This is not what you're gonna see come Friday, which is really, really, really good in my opinion. The new talent tree, I think, looks way better. It's way more concise. It is not confusing. It actually looks really good. Does it need more to it? Absolutely. But I think at a base level, we're at a way better point. So let me go to the Bard showcase, or the Bard talent tree real quick, just to give you a little bit of insight. So what you're essentially saying is that we should play alone and go aggro multiple mobs at the same time. Got it. Yes. If you want to experience the resurrection button, go and aggro several mobs and you will experience that 100%. What's up, Firebread? Good to see you, buddy. Let me see. Yes, saw that yesterday. Lots of changes incoming. So many pages and articles are being updated. Yes. And I also heard that potentially there's going to be a, I honestly don't think this is what the Bard talent tree looks like right now either. I have not played the Bard, but from what the people have told me, I think they also updated the Bard talent tree as well. Guys, they're cooking. They're cooking. They've been listening to feedback. I mean, hell, I made a whole video about this. And what's really crazy in my video, they actually implemented a part of what I suggested. Isn't that wild? Like, okay. And it probably wasn't because of me. I'm not going to take any credit for that. But all I am saying is that they did do a suggestion of what I wanted the talent tree to be. And it's basically not level locked. You need talent points, but you can only work within a certain grid, right? So as an example, like, I can't highlight this, but let's say from this point to, from here, like this box, okay? Whenever you are level 1 and you hit level 2, you can put 1 talent point in to your ability, right? On your talent tree. SOS, the net, or that's probably not even how you pronounce it, but thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. And welcome. So basically you can put a talent point into any of these abilities. Every other ability is grayed out. So it automatically gives you a concise, like, these are the buttons to look at. These are the buttons to play with for right now. But it also actually gives you an insight, because since they're grayed out, you can still hover over them and look at to see like what these abilities do, their cooldowns, how they interact with other abilities. Really, really, really good. So I really like that. Now, oh my God, there was something else I wanted to talk about. The abilities of the fighter. Man, they feel really good. You see, K-Horror 9080, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. Does Bard feel like it's worth having a party? Bard feels damn near mandatory. It feels damn near mandatory from what I've heard. Because as a solo player right now, I run out of mana as a fighter. And let me also tell you something too. When you start in the game, at least right now for the test, you're given 10 rations, which like basically it's like your food and water. Okay. And that only gets you halfway. So you have to basically, if you deplete your mana completely, you have to drink or eat 2 rations to get up all the way to 100%. There's a cool ability on the fighter. There's a passive where if your overkill ability, which is kind of like your execute, whatever the excess HP of the mob is, so whatever you overkill on, you get back in health and mana. So if you overkill a mob with like 104 damage, then you get 104 health and 104 mana back, which is really good. So, but I still run out of mana even with that. Okay. What's the most fun class to play right now for you? Fighter by a long shot. I leveled a ranger to 4. I leveled a mage to 4. And I leveled the fighter to 4, which then I could not stop, and I leveled it to 6. The fighter just feels really good. I have not played cleric. I have not played tank. And I have not played bard. Right now, from what I've heard, the ranger is going to be getting some major updates to its damage and its 2 ability kit. Let me see. Why would fighter have mana? Thank you. Apparently, Ashes of Creation wants every class to have mana. I don't understand it. I would rather have the momentum be its primary source of, like whenever you use an ability, it requires momentum than it requiring mana. Like I think having certain abilities don't require any momentum, so they're kind of like your generators. But to me, it just feels really weird as a fighter to having to sit down and drink because I need more mana to do my abilities. It just feels weird. Let me see. Does the game look good compared to Twitch and YouTube? Yes, it does. And on my computer, I have a 2060 Super. So I don't have the best setup. I'm actually quite nervous about Friday, guys. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I am really nervous because I really don't know if my computer is going to handle me streaming Ashes of Creation simultaneously. Like I can play Ashes of Creation by myself and my computer's like roaring. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Human eyes. Oh my God. I don't want to pronounce your name, but thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. And welcome. Let me see. Taco, thank you, or Takeo, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube. Thank you. Let me see. David 1997, thank you so much for the follow too. And Leah's 777, thank you also so much for the follow. Thank you. Let me see. What's your config? Right now I am playing with auto attack on for my melee swings. And I basically, let me go to the fighter real quick and I'll show you which abilities. I think they may have, wasn't there a sheet? Hold on, let me. Oh, what's your FPS and what settings are you? I'm playing on Ultra. I can't remember what specific settings I am currently using. Yes, a mana is a part of Essence, which all classes have. Yes. And I think, again, I don't mind a class using mana, but I think being reliant on it is a whole different thing, right? I don't think every class should be completely reliant on mana. Certain classes, sure. Mage, cleric, absolutely. It makes sense to. A ranger, maybe for certain abilities, but not all of its abilities, right? Fighter, fighter is a martial class. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just still very torn on that. Okay. So I'm not trying to get rid of it, but I'm just letting you know my thoughts on how it feels. It just feels weird because as a fighter, I would think I can just keep going, but I can't, right? E5996, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you, and welcome. Axie Prime, thank you so much for the follow as well. Man, we're getting a lot of new people, man. Thank you. Let me see, I don't get the mana thing, period. It just seems to me every character should have connection to the essence, which is the source of all magic in the world. No. Again, if that's the lore reason, I don't mind a fighter having mana, but as a rotational, I need mana to execute and actually do my abilities is what I'm struggling with. Because me swinging a sword, why would that require mana, right? But I understand if I'm casting like magic with it to turn it into like a fury swipe that unleashes like a fire attack, that makes sense, right? But again, it doesn't make sense for everything. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of my thing with that. Let me see. I hate mana. I'd rather just have a cooldown. Yeah. And again, I think when it comes to the basic attack, when it comes to the other stuff, I think there's going to be a lot of feedback. I'm really curious on the feedback, man. That's gonna be one of the things I can't wait to see stream. Let me see. Alculus, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. Actually, 3, stamina, mana, and momentum. Yes, right now, momentum is not a bar anymore. Like, I'm actually kind of shocked by that because if you look at the fighter showcase had a whole 4th bar where you saw momentum like come up and stuff. That's not how it currently works. Right now, it's a small little like debuff icon and it sucks. I would much prefer the bar than having to look at a very small debuff counter. Like, I don't know. That's just, I really don't like it. This might be complicated, but do you know what makes an ability magic or physical? Because Ranger's Thundering Shot scales with physical power, but deals lightning damage. What kind of mitigation would be needed? I mean, it would probably need like armor mitigation and also magical mitigation towards lightning. There's going to be a lot of spells in Ashes of Creation that are going to have both attached to it because everybody is going to have armor. And then you have the magical mitigation side of like fire, ice, lightning, earth, arcane. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Let me see. You will probably find the rogues run out of MP pretty damn quick. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, it depends on the only thing that kind of saves the fighter from needing mana all the time is the fact that my cooldowns are insanely long. Like, the shortest cooldown I have is 8 seconds. And that's the very first ability you get with. Let me see. Will this game have add-ons? No. Ashes of Creation is a game where they don't want add-ons at all. I still think in my head there's probably going to be a damage meter. Very similar to probably like Final Fantasy 14. But outside of that, I don't think Ashes of Creation is going to have any to no add-ons. How is dodging in the game? Is it like New World where it's where it has iframe? So there is a dodging. If you go here, and this button right here is your dodge. This is your sprint, and this is your block. So when I dodge, mostly as a fighter, like if I see a goblin weapon swing that's like about to pop up and I dodge, like I get out of it. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that helps. Let me see. Fighter has a CD reset on weapon combo though. Yes. I think again, there's a whole talent tree too for your weapon skills. And there's also some passives that allow for certain abilities to be reset upon like execution, which again is good. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what those abilities are. I really am, and I can't. I freaking can't. Because like I want to go in game to like see it, you know what I mean? But I can't do that. So, let me see. Let me go here, because I truly believe this is the thing I wanted to see real quick. This right here. So the very first ability you get. See, this is the one right here. Consuming lethal bow. This is the one that refunds like 50% of the overkill damage is health and mana. So that's like really, really, really good. And And where is your starting ability? It's not this one. Is it this one? It might be this one. I feel like it's not though. Let me see. Did you already answer if Ashes has its own launcher? Yes. Ashes of Creation has its own launcher. Let me see. Cocky Orphan, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. Overpower, I think. Is it Overpower? It probably is. Blitz feels really good. Snaggers, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. It's good to see you, man. Let me see. I still think it should be called Essence and be done. Yeah, I don't know. Mana just it is what it is. Mana, Essence, that vernacular doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is how it feels. And to me, it just feels really weird as a fighter needing to get mana back to keep going, you know? Peter LOL X, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. Vladis, have you been in testing? I have, but I've only been in testing for about a week. So I can't say that I've been in testing for weeks or whatever. I actually had a buddy of mine that I was going to try to bring on, but he's actually busy with family stuff. So he couldn't come on. Let me see. I still think it should be called Essence. Oh, I said that already. Let me see. Did you talk about character creation? I did. So character creation, when I was making my first character, it's rough. Like I said, there are preset models, and I basically just take the preset model every time. But I think there's also a bigger reason. And I think the character creator that we are currently playing with is not the one we're probably going to get at launch of the Alpha 2. It may, but I think they're working on a lot of stuff with the character creator. I think they are. There's a lot of stuff that I think they're going to be adding with the character creator. And I think, again, they're trying to get all of the server stuff, all of the initial quest and event stuff figured out. And there's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of stuff with these interactions and like you going into a certain event area and certain credit not being applied to the event. Like you're supposed to kill wolves in a certain event and I kill a wolf and there's no indication that a wolf got collected to that event. So, you see player models are ugly as fuck. Yeah, the player models need work. And what's really weird is that if you zoom into your character model, it looks really good. You can see the skin and it has like a very high fidelity, but then you kind of zoom out and your character just looks so weird. Like it's really, really, really weird. Let me see. Have you been able to sit in queue? Have you had to sit in a queue to enter the server? No. I've never encountered a queue in going into the server. It's been very quick. Let me see. Just started a new fighter. It's Overpower and Form of Ferocity. Yes. Okay. There we go. Let me see. How can it be worse than they demoed? They showed 2 years ago. I don't think it's worse. I think, again, they are still working on a lot of the base architect. And again, they're also probably doing it from a stability point of view to having a lot of people in the map. In certain areas, I've been able to see almost like 30, 40 people, and it's been seamless. Like I wouldn't say seamless, but it's been like, I would imagine there would be this lag because I see a lot of people in a certain area and there's not, the servers are acting really well. Like they're really, really good. The builds change and how is the customization character models effectively stability? The stability of the character models are good. I mean, I think when you're in game, the one thing I care about is me not rubber banding and me not like server lagging because there's a bunch of people in the server, and that hasn't happened yet. How is exploration, your opinion? Bro. Okay. Dude, there is some cool shit in the Riverlands, man. I've been having a blast. And it's kind of funny because I haven't really explored that much because the stuff that we've never seen in the live streams or anything like that, I'm like, oh my God, I want to save some shit. You know what I mean? And I know I won't be able to, but it's been so good. It's been so good. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, the exploration to me, I feel like the kind of the mystery, the thing that just, like, you know, kind of tickles my ball sack a little bit was like when I got back in Vanilla WoW, when I played back in 2006. Like that feeling of being in a brand new world and the possibilities, it feels so good. Like, I don't know, like the exploration to me has been really a lot of fun. Yeah, exploration is a lot of fun. You can get a lot of places with some effort. Sometimes it's worth it. Like if you have the treasure map associated with it just found. Oh my, I haven't even done the whole treasure map stuff either, man. So is the Alpha 2 basically going to make the game like Star Citizen and we get to play while it's in development? Eventually, once it goes 24/7, there's an actual end to the Alpha 2. Yes, there's going to be an actual end to the Alpha 2, guys. There is. Like, Steven said so today in the Theory Forge or the Ashen Forge podcast with my boy Phantom X. They're like, Phantom asked the question, would you launch Ashes of Creation without everything that was promised, you know, to actually have like a viable product? Like he mentioned, would you launch the game without the second continent? Would you launch the game without naval? And the answer to his question was yes. Not yes to specifically those two things been missing, but basically just to the overall question is, would I launch Ashes of Creation without every single system that we know about this game? Again, guys, I've always said this. This game is fucking massive, guys. And I know a lot of my real deep Ashes of Creation people that have been in this community for many years can know that. But I'm talking to my new people, the people that don't know much about Ashes of Creation. Ashes of Creation has anywhere between 25 to 30 major systems. And when I say systems, I'm talking systems like classes, talent trees, weapon trees, naval, nodes, like major systems. This is a game that on paper would look like a base game plus 4 expansions worth of content. And that's at a base level. It's wild. It's a lot, you know? Let me see. Will there be tavern games? Yes, there will be tavern games, but not at the launch of Alpha 2. I think tavern games will probably be sometime after Phase 3. 100%. You see, Alpha 2, 1 year to 1 year and a half, been stated all along, but I think it'll be a year and a half. It could be. It could be. I still think it's probably, I think it's anywhere between 3 to 4 years away, but it looks like Steven doesn't want Ashes of Creation to go that long. And the reason why I kept saying 3 to 4 years is also, in my mind, having every single system that we know about this game being online and operational and tested. If Steven has it in his head where maybe certain systems can be delayed and could be like major patch worth systems that get brought online later after the official launch of Ashes of Creation, then I can start seeing this project be sooner. But it depends on what systems those are and how far we get along this trek of Alpha 2, right? Nick the Foxhole the Foxholeable? Foxholeable? Thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. And welcome to the stream. But yeah, oh my God, like there's so much. Like I feel like I have so much to say, but I can't think of like a particular thing. Let me see. I just need to know, Vladis, how good or bad does combat feel? Dude, I'm not gonna lie. On the fighter, the combat feels fucking fluid. When I play on the mage and the ranger, like rotationally, when I actually have some buttons to push, the combat feels fucking good. When I hit a button, it hits like instant. You know, when you play a game like Final Fantasy 14, and again, no offense to any of my Final Fantasy 14 people, but I always felt there was like this very slight delay. Like it didn't feel like instantaneous, right? Something like Guild Wars 2 or World of Warcraft, right? When you hit a button, it's just like that instant gratification feeling. Have you tried longbow and ranger or only shortbow? I tried both. I tried shortbow on the ranger, longbow on the ranger. I've tried longbow on the fighter, shortbow on the fighter. The bow feels good. I think the longbow still needs a lot of work. Right now, the meta is to basically play short bow because it just does more damage. But it's a tuning issue. I think, again, like I've always said, short bow needs to have a shorter range and do smaller burst damage. The longbow needs to have a larger range, does chunkier crit damage, and that's the kind of play styles you can have, right? That's just not currently in the game right now. I think it will be 100%. Blessed 2541, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. Let me see, how does weapon swap feel? Does it feel useful? Absolutely, dude. Oh my god, the amount of times when I'm on the fighter and I'll hit a mob and the mob goes running, I hit my weapon swap to my bow and I start basic attacking with my bow. Honestly, the weapon swapping feels very much like an important decision. Like, it just doesn't feel like a throwaway, oh whatever kind of thing. Like, I think it feels quite important to have, especially as a melee, because, you know, when you're up and close and personal, if the mob ever tries to get away from you, you can swap to a bow and just stay at a distance if you want. You know what I mean? Like, and it feels really, really good. Any feedback on cleric? So, from what I have heard, and again, I have not played cleric. Cleric and tank and bard are the three classes that I have not played at all. I've been having a shit ton of fun on the fighter. I haven't even got the fighter to level 10. Most people on the PTR right now are on at level 10. It's wild. I have not gotten to level 10. But yes, it's definitely, there are some things that I think need to be kind of overhauled on a lot of classes. And from the things that I've heard from the developers, there are several, updates that classes will have. I don't know if those updates are going to be before the Alpha 2 launch on Friday. Maybe they're going to be sometime this week. But yeah, that's kind of it. Are tab target skills undodgeable no matter what? On the fighter, they are dodgeable. There are tab target skills that I'll do and the mobs can dodge out of it, or I'll whiff on them. So that's how that is. Did you happen to do crafting? How far along is crafting? Crafting is not as further along as I would have liked it to be. If you watch the Ashen Forge podcast today with our boy Phantom X, Legendary Neurotoxin, and Diggs, Legendary Neurotoxin talked about the crafting. Right now, it's very rudimentary, very classic WoW crafting. It does not have, like, if you watch the crafting showcase, it wasn't really a crafting showcase per se, but it was the one where they made the blood sword. There are different additional reagents that you can use, or regents, or however the hell the word's pronounced, but you can use different regents to manipulate or craft the sword in a very tailored way. That's currently not in the game right now, but Steven did say that those systems are online. They're just not operational. They're online and operational, but they're just not implemented, I think is what he said, more accurately. Let me see. Actually, sure, everyone asked about but I have a question from the other way around. Can you say one bad thing about each archetype you have played? Okay, for the fighter, Whirlwind feels terrible. I hate Whirlwind. I think Whirlwind needs to have a way faster ability and animation. I also feel like the basic attack on the two-handed sword needs some work. I do like the movement of it, but I really, it kind of just goes along with the basic attack. I think the basic attack is kind of crap. I think there's going to be some serious reworks to the overall basic attack in general for every class. I think that's just going to be heavily reworked. Let me see, what else is there? Gathering is extraordinarily grindy. Holy shit. And again, this is why it's going to be really amazing that Ashes of Creation is going to have a PTR, because, dude, I was gathering a bunch of shit. And that's the other thing too, man. The trees, it's really cool the fact that you have so many options as trees to cut down, but you start off with one bag. Now you can buy other bags. They're very basic bags, very generic beginner bags. But even buying a mining bag and a lumberjacking bag, I fill up those things fucking quick. And I'm having to make certain decisions because I'll see a certain mining note that I haven't seen before and I can mine it, but I can't carry it. I can't do anything with it. And I like that. I do. I like the fact that if you want to only mine, let's say, rubies and zinc and iron, then those are the things you're going to mine. Everything else is not important to you, right? So choosing what you're going to mine is an important decision. Same thing with chopping trees. You're going to see many types of trees, but you won't be able to gather them all. You won't be able to. Let me see. Any outliers in PvP, as in classes being OP? How is range versus melee in PvP? So I have not experienced the PvP side of things because I've been playing mostly solo, because of just the times that I'm able to play the game. I've tried to group up with some people. I did group with some people. We did some PvE stuff, but I haven't been able to PvP just because I haven't had much time. I do want to make an announcement though. So Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, my wife is going to be going on vacation with the girls. I will be home by myself, and I will be streaming Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, pretty much all day. So I'm going to be streaming a lot. So I'm going to be basically getting everything I can for you guys, getting all the stuff ready for Friday. But I will also let y'all know that there is some stuff that I said that isn't going to be a very seamless experience for you guys. Okay. Like, again, putting up stuff. Let me see. Is this the live alpha 2? No, this is a video. This is the Lion Hold preview from Ashes of Creation. So I just kind of wanted to have something in the background to kind of talk about while I'm talking about NDA stuff. You know what I mean? See, what are you planning to play on Friday? Friday, I am planning to play probably Ranger. Or not Ranger, I'm sorry. Well, it depends. If they update those classes that I think they're going to update and they're better, I don't know. Currently, I want to play Fighter. Fighter feels really fucking good. I love the way it feels. It feels really good to swing a two-handed sword. The abilities, dude, Maim. Oh my God. Like, let me bring up the Fighter showcase real quick because, dude, some of the abilities on the Fighter feel so fucking satisfying in game to experience, man. Like, oh my God. Here, let me watch Richie's video because I'm pretty sure. Because he probably gives like a breakdown of like the abilities and stuff like that. But dude, Blitz, that ability right there. Oh my God. Dude, that ability in game right there feels fucking giga chatted to the nth level. Oh my God. Because you can actually, like, if a mob is running from you and you're pointed one direction, just like what he did there, you can literally like turn yourself in mid cast so that when it impacts, you fucking hit. Like, and it's probably one of the most satisfying abilities I've ever played with. That one ability feels fucking good. I think Whirlwind needs some work. I think it's way too slow at the start, and maybe that's intentional and stuff like that, but I really don't know. I think it definitely needs some work, like 100%. Let me see. Mur is a Mur. Thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. Let me see. Merv, you've already answered this, and I may have missed it, but do you need arrows for the bow? And if so, are there different kinds of arrows? No, there are no. You don't need ammunition for any bows or any. Arrows do not exist in this game. They just infinitely come out of your bow. You don't have to manage all that shit. Thank God, because as someone who played the Hunter in World of Warcraft from 2006 to 2016. Fuck arrows. Like, I used to love arrows. And believe me, there's a lot of people who love the whole ammunition side of things. Like, I get it. I played with it. I know. I had engineers that I reached out to make me my specific bullets and arrows. But that shit gets fucking old, dude. And you have no idea of, like, when you go on because you got a raid or whatever and you forgot to stock up on your fucking arrows and you run out of arrows. You're a fucking bow user and you run out of arrows. It's just annoying. Like, And usually in games, no other class has to worry about that. You know what I mean? Like no other class has to worry about ammunition. Like it's just, it's dumb. Let me see. Give me one bad thing about other classes than fighter 2. Well, okay. So on fighter on ranger, the damage is terrible. You cannot solo as a ranger in Ashes of Creation. Everybody, it's a well-known thing. Like you need to kind of be in a group. But the damage you deal on a ranger does not feel good. The ability, the very first ability is like a barrage ability. And the barrage ability is, I don't know, like you hear this, like, I don't mind the bow sounds, but it's like, dude, that bow sound after a while just sort of gets to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't deal with it. Mage. What do I not like about the mage? I don't know. I don't. Let me see. It's a fantasy game. Who's to say the arrows are not magically conjured? It could be magically conjured. I don't care. I just don't. I don't want to deal with freaking arrow management. Like, and I'm really grateful that Steven's like, nope, you're not gonna deal with that shit. Thank God. Let me see. How's the mage? The mage, honestly, like, it actually feels pretty good once you actually start getting more abilities. I actually quite like the mage. And it's kind of funny because I really didn't think I would like the mage. That was probably like the last class that I think I'd probably like. But I still like. The other thing about it too is because I got in early, I didn't know, or I'm not saying I didn't know, I didn't want to experience everything because there's some stuff that I wanted to experience with you guys, like when we're in the testing, that I didn't just, you know, that I can experience for the first time with you guys, like certain classes. So I didn't experience the bard, I didn't experience the tank, and I didn't experience the cleric. But hopefully, if they do the ranger update, I don't know. They did say there was gonna be certain classes that are gonna be, oh, dude, Warcry is also really good too. I can't imagine that in a group, but I did play with that. Killing single target mobs using Warcry feels kind of like a waste a little bit, but in a group, oh my God, it's probably gonna feel like really fucking amazing. Let me see. Mages have secondary effects that trigger off previous elemental effects. Yes, and I think there needs to be more to that. And that's what I'm looking forward to once we actually get into Alpha 2. And once we start getting feedback from people that like are, I wouldn't say experts from other games, right? But let's say people that, you know, like someone like Zaryu from World of Warcraft. He's played a mage in WoW. He's actually a really high profile mage. He's done PvP at the highest level. He's done PvE at the highest level. Having someone like that in Ashes of Creation playing the mage and seeing like how it feels, like what things that can be improved or whatever. Like, I think that's good. I think that's good feedback for the developers and for the game. So I want to do that too for like classes that I care about. The two classes that I truly care about are the ranger and the fighter. At least for right now. Hell, I could play the bard for the first time and be like, bro, the bard is where it's at, man. Like I want to freaking play the bard, you know, so bad now. Let me see. Sork feels the best. Ranger's the worst. Yeah, I know. That's what I've heard. And I played Ranger to 4 and I was like, that was a trek, man. A trek. Let me see. I was impressed with how fast they stabilized the current build. I have 2 series NVIDIA laptop cards, which is pretty old, and it ran on ultra seamlessly. Yes. I've been very impressed with how quick they respond to shit. Like, I think that's been like the biggest thing for me. Let me see. I will literally not play Ashes of Creation if they don't add visible quivers when you equip the bow. They do. I think there's certain cloaks with visible quivers on them. I really do. Deebs Reborn, thank you so much for the sub, man. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. That's awesome. Zaiburetsu, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. And welcome to the stream, man. It is not that Ranger can't solo. I believe they are more item dependent. Yes. And I think, but also, from what the developers have said, that they're still number tuning for them as well. Like they still want to do more for the Ranger class, and definitely for some of the abilities. Their gear scaling is higher than other classes, possibly, but that also might be changed. Like I think when it comes to a lot of the classes that you currently see, I think you're going to see some drastic changes in the next couple of months for a lot of classes. Personally, I wouldn't feel too bound or too married to any particular class and how it feels right now, because all of it, I mean, everything from the fire could be radically changed and for the better. We don't know. Frosthand, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. And welcome to the stream. Let me see. How are Ranger animations? In the showcase, it looked like the bow shooting animation was kind of janky, not an actual drawback, but more of a quick shot. Yeah, it's still like that. I think the animation team still has some ways to go with the Ranger and its abilities, but also, like I said, the very first ability you get from the Ranger is a barrage. So you just basically cast a whole bunch of really quick shot arrows. But again, this is the kind of feedback that they need. You know what I mean? This is the stuff where when I talk to Steven, they're at a point right now where they can pivot, right? And so with certain animations or certain things of how they look, now is the time for them to, oh, the community doesn't like it this way. Well, let's see if we can change it for the better, right? Now is the time to leave this feedback. You know what I'm saying? It's because they deal with consistent damage at longer range. They are weakened to balance. Well, again, I think that philosophy might change. It depends on how they basically scale their abilities, how they descale their itemization as they scale with level and adding items to them. They can go back on a lot of different things. I think they just want to initially have people. Let me see. I think they initially want to have. Okay, sorry. I think they initially just want to have the class feel like you can actually do something, at the start. The other thing I wanted to mention too, and this is something that you're going to notice when you get in the Alpha 2, right here where I'm pointing this mouse, once you cross that line, you're going to feel like you entered into a new server, because all of the stuff that you'll see past here it just removes itself. Like you can almost spot the dynamic grid lines of certain areas. So when you go into certain parts, you'll notice that there's like not a transition per se, but you'll notice like the, I don't know if they'll cut it here. You see that? Oh, fuck. Did I fuck it up? There's just certain spots that as soon as you go far enough, did you see that? It's like all of a sudden people just popped out of nowhere. And it's because you basically stepped over like that invisible line, and now there's like people there. And I think that's where the dynamic gridding still needs to be into effect. And Steven said that they're probably not going to have that implemented in for this coming weekend, or even for the next weekend. I think it's going to come mostly online in phase 2 personally. Like if I had to say any kind of just realistic, like what's going to happen, I think that's realistically what could be happening. Yeah, I think Rangers would be good if they are used functionally, like posted on a ledge overlooking the battlefield. And that's why having 2 bow and arrows, like the short bow, long bow, is very critical. Because imagine if you are having to be on a ledge and you have a 50-yard range on your skills because you're using a longbow, and now you're having to go into the thick of battle, and now you can bust out your short bow that only has like a 15 to 20-yard range, right? So that's where I think the having like the dual weapons like really comes in and matters, right? Excuse me. Did they have short bow, long bow? Are they both are they animated the same, still quick shotty? The long bow not so much. The short bow is very quick shot. Very quick shot. Were you able to play the test also only on the weekend, or was it available 7 days a week? So ever since I've been in, it's been up 24/7. Like I've been able to play almost every day. So that's been really nice, thank God, because apparently the weekend before, that was not the case. So can you please tell everyone how amazing the environment and scale upwards felt? I felt drawn to explore, reminded me of Elden Ring. Oh yeah, dude, I gushed about that. The exploration in this game, dude, is fucking amazing. It is fucking amazing. Like, I cannot wait to explore more. What's the fishing like? I really like fishing in Mortal Online 2. I have not gotten to experience the fishing. I don't know if fishing is online, but the only things that I was able to experience was herbalism, basically the gathering professions. There's a quest once you get into Lion's Hold where you have to process certain items as a quest. I feel like those quests are very they don't give the proper, like, I gotta really think about this, because I just felt very disconnecting, because it's like you have to use certain processing stuff like the lumber mill, and also the like milling for like the flowers and stuff like that, and also like the stone masonry. You got to process that as well. It felt good, but I don't know. I think some of the intro quests still need some work, but I'm still trying to get my thoughts on that. Did it feel I'm sorry, hold on real quick. Have you tried any funky build that you normally wouldn't do, like fighter and light armor with wand or whatever? So I have not been able to really play with the build stuff because we don't have any gold in the game. We have to earn everything naturally. And there is a vendor. However, the vendor only gives you 3 items to buy. So I have not truly played with a lot of the stuff on there. However, when I grind, there are completed items that drop from mobs. And that's what I've been equipping personally. So I haven't really got to play with any funky builds. And this is why I'm really excited for PTRs. Because the PTR is going to be where, hey, we're going to make everyone level 25. All we want you guys to do is to test every class, all the abilities, go PvP, go PvE, like give us feedback on these classes at this level, you know, because again, leveling in this game takes a long ass time. So if they want to like get feedback on like how it feels to be level 25 and have 25 talent points to play with, that's where the PTR comes in. If they want to test professions and they want to get everybody journeyman and say, hey, we're going to give people 2 professions to go full journeyman into. Pick whatever professions you want. There's vendors there with all the recipes, all the things you needed to get started. And you can basically do everything right here into the Lion's Hold. You don't have to go anywhere or do anything. You can process or gather, or, you know, this vendor has all your gathering materials. This, there's all the processing spots. Here's all the crafting spots. You know, like, I think that's very valid to do, because we can dig deep on those professions and really give a lot of the pain points or the things that work, don't work, buggy, all that stuff. Let me see. I am of the opinion they want the base weapons to be even for DPS intentionally over 30 seconds at a time so that beginners will experiment freely. Let me see. Starter gather quest is just to make you familiar with the gather and crafting tool interface. Yes, I know, but I feel like it could be better. I feel like it could be better though. Some of the quests, because you have to read everything, I feel like people are going to get lost very quickly. I think there needs to be a little bit more hand holding, at least in these initial, because again, Lion's Hold, you're going to do like a couple of quests here. And I mean a couple, I mean like less than 5. Okay. And then after that, it's your choice. Like this is the thing where the sandbox comes in. Then once you do your quest here, you earn your mount. You can start going in and going into the world and head to your node. Like if your guild says, hey, we're going to go into the Merilith node, you're going to go like 20 minutes away from Lion's Hold. Merilith's far away. It's on the far side of the Riverlands. So you're going to trek all the way to the far right. And you can do that very early on. So that's going to be really awesome too. The fact that you're going to be able to travel, the fact that you're going to be able to, you know, this is like one of the stone masonry parts, right? This is like one of the processing parts where you can go in and turn certain things like into the marble slab and everything like that. Let me see. How do melee weapons interact with the ranger? Do you magically pull out a bow when you use abilities? Yes. So when you're not in combat, and you hit number 1, which is your barrage, your bow comes out. And again, for your basic attack, if you have like a melee equipped or a melee sword equipped, well, you're going to hit your bow attack. And then once your barrage is done, you're just going to stand there. Because the basic attack, your melee weapon is equipped. So if you want to auto attack your bow, you have to make sure that your short bow or your long bow is the weapon of your basic attack. Otherwise, there's no follow up. So just to give that into perspective. That would make sense. I'm hoping that I don't fight 4,000 players for mob grinds to level 25 just to find out cleric isn't at a state where it can remotely be a hybrid class yet. Yeah, exactly. Again, these are a lot of classes are going to have. They're definitely going to have a lot to improve for sure. Again, guys. Alpha 2 is the start of the race. Okay. Alpha 2 is literally the start of the race. Let me see. Dermakova 6072 Quasi Square. Dang, did I pronounce that right? Thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. Brady Ritchie, do you thank you so much for the follow as well? Thank you. Micah Vekos, do you thank you so much for the follow too? And Buku Storm, thank you so much for the follow as well, dude. I missed all those. I apologize deeply. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. It's actually really nice that I can talk about all this stuff now, because man, like I was talking to our boy Richie SH because I've been playing Ashes with him and my buddy Roar. Roar's been playing tank or fighter. I think fighter or tank. Richie's been playing mage and I've been playing fighter. And it's been really cool. Nighttime, honestly too, feels good. Nighttime feels good. I think the nighttime, it looks more purple. I still think they're playing with the nighttime more. I would like it to be a little bit more darker. But nighttime, dude, the skybox looks fucking beautiful, man. Like every time I look at the sky when it's nighttime, I'm just like, damn. Yeah. Oh, dude, a lot of lighting issues. There's a lot of lighting issues in Ashes. So not only in just the visual light animations, but whenever you go into like this little building here, or if you go into the other building there, it goes from like being really bright, but the transition from going into a brightly lit area into a darkly lit area is terrible. It's really bad. Because it's like, it's very stunting because it's like, ooh, because it goes almost like the screen disintegrates into a darker portion. It's really, really, really weird. But yeah, there's a ton of bugs when it comes to lighting. The good thing about that is you got to tell them about the eternal darkness. Oh, yeah. Well, apparently I wasn't there for those tests, but I remember people telling me about it, that it was like only nighttime. That was the only season or only experience that you could get. So it was just like basically night and full of terrors the entire time. There was a bug that made nighttime pitch black. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like it was kind of crazy. It feels more like real life going into a bright, dark locations. The screen adjusts like the eyes actually. Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's actually a really good example. It almost feels like your eyes are like dilating because you were like in a really lit area and then you're in dark. You go into a dark area and your eyes are like adjusting. Like it feels really weird. Yeah. Is there a way to hide like in the dark? Can one crouch and hide their name tag and stuff like that? No. Like your name tag is always kind of present. Like you can't remove your name tag. Yeah, it's part of Lumen. Yeah. And again, there's a lot of stuff they're going to have to work out with that. If lighting is one of the biggest problems, I think we're good. Yeah, it's definitely like, again, there's been a time. So there was a spot where I was mob grinding and I literally blitzed like my charge. I charged to a goblin. My character went completely diagonally down and I fell through the freaking world. And as I was still in blitz, fell through the world and landed in Lion's Hold. I don't know how I did that. And again, this is why I'm so like, once I can start visually like streaming this game, I can't wait to like have the recordings of my bugs, because it's like I was trying to leave a bug report on what was the actual experience and what was the intended experience. And I'm like, well, I think my actual experience was really weird. My intended experience was supposed to be I was going to blitz to a target and kill them. That's not what happened. You know what I mean? Let me see. What weapon tree did you test and which appealed to you the most? So I tested the two-handed weapon tree, the longbow talent tree, the short bow talent tree, and the tome, the two-handed like book talent tree, the most probably. Yeah, easy teleport, dude. No, I was not anywhere near Lion's Hold. Like, that was the thing that kind of made me upset, because I had to then go almost 15 minutes back to where I was because I landed all the way back in Lion's Hold. And there's another bug too, where your mount, if you leave your mount somewhere and you try to summon it back, there's a bug sometimes where it says your mount died. And if your mount's dead, you can't summon it for 10 minutes. That sucks. And again, your mount didn't die. It's just there's sometimes some bugs when it comes to the mount animation about it. That's kind of annoying. I would really like oh, Brad likes PvT. Dude, thank you so much for this for the sub, man. Thank you. Welcome. I would really like a way to dismiss the mount if I choose to. Like, I like the fact that if I can get off the mount, I think it's really convenient too. Because in other games, like whenever I get off my mount, the mount just kind of disappears. But I really like it whenever I aggro shit and I'm like, fuck, and I'm running and I run to my mount, I hit F, I instantly hop on my mount and I'm out. That is really fucking cool. Really fucking cool. But I would like at least the option to be able to desummon the mount if I choose to, right? Let me see. Is the mount summoning like RDR online where you whistle and the horse comes running towards you? I think that's probably going to be the intended way, but no. Currently how it works is you summon your mount. It's a cast time. You whistle in the air and your mount just spawns right next to you. It's a very like poof, like and poof out. Like it's, again, this is alpha, guys. This is not a polishing phase. This is not, you know, yeah, your mount just kind of currently just pops right in. Scruffy Gregles, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. And welcome. Let me see. Do skill range depend on short/longbow, or is it just auto attacks? And what the difference between bow types? So there really isn't a difference right now on long and short bow. That's why most people are sticking with short bow, because it just does more damage. There needs to be differences. And people have left tremendous feedback in the forums. The devs already know about it. So I'm just sort of waiting till they implement those changes, so then we can start leaving feedback on what Intrepid decided to do with the short and long bow. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff where, you know, it's going to be changed, guys. Like, that's why I'm not really, like, once you start getting to see how I react to certain things, like, I'm not going to react too harshly on things, because there's so much shit that's subject to change that I am not going to be married so close into a certain direction. But I understand that there's going to be certain things, like for the fighter, right, that I really love. Like, if they mess with MAME, I'm going to be pissed, because MAME feels so good right now. It feels so good, but maybe they can make MAME better. But I think currently how it is, probably one of the best abilities I played with so far. MAME is so freaking good. Oh, dude, look, there's my boy Planet Orb. What is up, man? Good to see you. Let me see. How was the intended plans for short and longbow? Longbow slower, harder hitting. Short bow is opposite. Well, I think that's the intended plan. I think that's literally what people are expecting from the Intrepid team when it comes to Ranger. Ranger, I think, has a major update coming very, very, very soon. Let me see. You know what I would test? The corruption system. I would test it so much that you'd... Okay. There was a guy on the PTR that was so corrupted, he had, I think, over 1 million experience debt. He bricked his character completely. Yeah, verbal / written NDA lifted. Let's go. Yes, dude, let's go, man. I don't know if you've already covered this, but how would a 3070 hold up at this stage? Way better than my 2060 Super is doing. I can go on ultra settings on my 2060 Super. Now my computer's howling. Like it's going, but it does the job. I'm more worried about like the performance of streaming Ashes of Creation and playing it at the same time. That's my current worry. I think you'll be totally fine on a 3070 Super. I think you'll be totally fine. Do quivers appear when you equip a bow? And do rangers still are pulling arrows from their asses? I think currently they're pulling it from their asses. I have not seen a quiver come out, personally. Is this game worth? I think a better question is this test worth? And that question is entirely up to you. If you're talking about, is this game worth it? Well, if you look at the game overall and what it's offering from a finished standpoint, I think this game is totally worth it. Totally freaking worth it. Now, it's up to you if you think this upcoming test is worth it. There are 3 phases of this test. Okay? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I think you'll get more out of your buck out of phase 3. Because $100, you'll get into phase 3 in May of next year, and you'll get to experience probably a way better experience game than we're going to experience this Friday. 100%. And more stuff to do, more races, more classes. Like it's truly up to you, like what you want to do. If the whole world was corrupt, then the bounty hunter would be merely thrill-seeking fanatics. I really hope the bounty hunting holds its integrity. Well, and I think a way they can do that is adding more to that system. This is why when I interviewed Steven, I had 3 bounty hunter questions ready. But when I asked the first question, he said that there really hadn't been any changes and that it's mostly still on paper. So I didn't want to ask the other follow-up questions to that because Steven would have just said, well, we haven't really thought about it, or it's still something we haven't implemented on. And I didn't want to waste more questions on a system that wasn't even implemented, or it wasn't even being iterated on as of right now. DJ Flemmy Flem, dude, thank you so much for the sub, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Welcome. How do you PvP without getting corruption? Easy. You do PvP events. There are plenty of PvP events that you're going to be able to do in Ashes of Creation where you won't even experience like the death penalties either. You'll be able to do full-on PvP with people, not get corruption, not get any death penalties, and have a fun-ass time doing that. So there's plenty of PvP things. Do not worry. There are plenty of PvP things. Let me see. Narc is washed up. I would rather gather multiple opinions before taking his gospel. Well, every content creator has their opinion on Ashes of Creation. Everyone is dogging the game because the graphics look lower than what it did in the showcases. How do you feel that is the case on your experience? Well, again, the showcases are meant to be a presentational thing. The stuff here is meant to look better than what we're getting in the PTR. And also, let me tell you something else. The current build is not the build this is being played on. The devs are always going to play on the most current, most like stable, most graphically amazing build. We're playing like 5 builds, 3 builds behind. That's par for the course. That's literally how every game development does it. This isn't new. This isn't inventive. Like this is how a lot of gaming studios do it. The devs are playing and doing the most current build. We are basically testing like 3 builds behind so they can then innovate. They can start slowly implementing into the actual production build, see if it doesn't brick anything, see if it doesn't work anything. There's a process to these things, guys. Again, if you want to talk about the process, I think Steven did a very good job explaining the back-end process of development in the latest interview with our boy Theory or Ashenforge with Phantom X and Diggs and Legendary Neurotoxin. Barry, you alive, dude, thank you so much for the follow as well. And Soul Chiller, dude, thank you so much for the follow too, man. Thank you. And welcome. Oh, look, my stream. Let's go over here. Wow, 188 of you are watching me on freaking YouTube. Are you kidding me? Holy shit. You guys are crazy. Thank you so much for the support. My God. Let me see how much content is there now. I mean, like fighting content, not crafting. Not a lot. At least not the stuff that we've seen personally. So there's a lot of stuff that they're still working on. And again, they may add more for Friday. They may add more stuff that's cooking in the pipeline. But that's why this is for testing. Test the stuff, test the events, test the quests that are given to you, and do that repeatedly. Right now, and again, this is what I was talking about it with other content creators. People aren't testing Ashes of Creation right now. People are trying to play Ashes of Creation. They're trying to go to dungeons and grind spots and level as optimally and as quickly as possible. And I don't know if that's conducive for Intrepid. I think they actually need help in like data gathering, like the starting stuff, the events, the quests, the gatherables, like stuff like that. Let me see. Question for the future. Do you think that all classes will be able to tank with a tank secondary and focus with threat augments? Do you think all classes will be able to tank with a tank secondary? Well, the tankologist, I don't know, because that's an augment system question. We're not going to get the augment system till phase 3. And I'll know right now, tanks are very needed because if you're doing like AoE, like mob grinding or whatever, you need a tank. You're not gonna be able to do it a fighter. Like it's just, you need a tank for sure. Let me see. A guy is Intrepid's communication and customer service to respond to questions in Discord. They even did meetings. Yes. Like I said, the level of communication, the level of updating us, keeping us in the loop has been amazing. And just the people that have been there from the beginning have said this has been the case. This is not new. This is not something they just started to do a couple of weeks ago. This has been the case. And I think that just shows the level of dedication, that shows the level of importance that this Alpha 2 has for them. So let me see, how many people is usually a leveling party? 8. There's a lot of people that have been leveling with like a party of 8. Probably more. Let me see. Sorry, I've been thinking about it for longer, but thank you for the stream. It was awesome partying up and looking forward to seeing more of you guys at Vera. Dude, thank you so much for stopping by, Nathan. Thank you, dude. And yeah, good luck coming up this week, man. I know you guys are still definitely at it. You know, definitely at it. Yeah, no taverns yet. There's no taverns as of right now. Testing, man. Have been in the P3R this whole time. Just made level 5 yesterday. Half of what I report has been reported by the time I reported, and that's fine. Yes, and that's the thing too. Like I kind of look at all of the forum stuff and what people are currently talking about in the PTR forums, and a lot of the problems or a lot of the issues that I've had have already been reported. So it's like, oh, okay, like I don't need to, but I still leave my bug report and everything like in game. Definitely do that. Definitely leave bug reports. Definitely go in and look at like what people have been like reporting and testing. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where like you have to be in that mindset of knowing like what's happening, what's to come. And I'm so glad Intrepid is keeping us informed with that. It's really, really good. Is there any other questions that anybody has regarding like the test and stuff? How tough are the elites? Is the drop and experience from them decent? Yes, dude. So there are 1-star elites, 2-star elites, and 3-star elites. If you don't have a cleric with you, 3-star elites are just off the table. As a fighter, I can do a 2-star elite, but remember what I was telling you guys in the beginning of the stream with the AI controller kind of being broken? I think the only reason why I've been able to kill a 2-star elite is because they don't basic attack that often. And they, I don't know, like they just don't do stuff like, you know what I mean? But the 2-star elites fucking hurt. So yes, and they do, like, I actually got a rare drop from a 2-star elite. It was a rare helm that I got for my fighter. And I was like, oh damn, like, you know what I mean? And apparently from what Steven and the team have said is that they're going to make the completed drop rates from the mobs a little bit lower, but they want, especially early on, to have like completed drops from mobs like happen, but to be a little bit more rarer. But as you level, like past level 10, it's going to get really rare. Meaning after level 10, basically, they want you to start crafting. They want you to start like utilizing like profession people to like make your shit. What is the best healer archetype? Cleric. Cleric is definitely the best healer archetype. Is leveling slow? Leveling is definitely slow. It's definitely slow. I played for about 6 hours and got to level 6. And again, that was not, because I know there's people in my chat that are currently playing Ashes of Creation. This was me playing solo, not, you know, grouping these efficient grind spots and everything like that. I know you can probably level very, very quickly in comparison to what I was doing. But yeah, it's very, very, very slow. Old Greg 2225, you thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome. Let me see. How many fresh start wipes do you think there will be before phase 2, and how many wipes by phase 3? I would expect several. I don't know. I know they said they don't plan on wiping, but I think that's why they also added the PTR. I think there's a lot of valid reasons why the PTR exists. And again, it's for good reason. The PTR is there to provide a separate look at the game and focus on certain systems in the game. And if things get bricked, they can hopefully fix that stuff in the PTR. But if they can't, then they're probably gonna have to do a wipe on the actual main server. But we'll see. I am not of the thing where, like I said, I know they've always said they're not going to wipe, or their intent is not to wipe. I just think that's a little bit unrealistic. I think they're definitely going to wipe. I don't know how many times, but I mean, it just depends. Let me see. Pre-alpha tester, you can comfortably get to level 9 through 10 without grinding. I will say level 6 or 7 takes about 4 to 5 hours if you know where to go. Yes, if you know where to go. I had no idea where the hell to go. And that's the thing that I loved about this experience for me, was I felt so fucking lost. I loved it. I couldn't watch a YouTube video. I couldn't, you know, go to the, you know, a website to find out where the most efficient spots were. I love the fact that I felt fucking lost for the first time in like many years of playing an MMORPG. Like, I think that was probably like one of the coolest experiences. And I know that's not going to exist after a while, because once people start streaming the game, once we start getting in there and start finding out all this stuff, that's just not realistically the case anymore. Like, you're going to start finding out where all the efficient spots are. If you want to level fast, if you want to level gathering quickly or whatever, little hacks here and there. I get that. But I think overall, like, it's just nice to experience a game where I feel like a fucking noob. Like, I really love that feeling. Can someone identify from afar someone is max level and clap you easily? Or is it something you need to fight to find out? So far, I was level 6 and I saw like 3 people kind of skirmish fighting. I was able to click on every one of them and determine their level. And I couldn't see their health, but you know, we saw like the bars, right? Like the little bracket bars. But I was able to determine what level they were. You know, how good is this game on a scale from 1 to 10? I would say, let me rephrase your question. How good is this test on a scale from 1 to 10? I would say from a testing perspective, we are looking at maybe a solid 6. I think if you're looking at it from a complete testing environment, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. A lot of stuff that needs to be smoothed out. But I think this, and I'm speaking just the pre-alpha stuff. I'm hoping that the actual alpha 2 stuff gets changed. But as far as my testing experience, like I would say it's a solid like 6. It's really good. It again, like there's just a lot of stuff that is broken, needs fixed. We need testers in there. We need to rinse and repeat certain events, certain quests, certain things. But overall, it hasn't been a shit show, at least in my opinion. Apparently I missed the shit show. The shit show was actually a couple of weeks before I joined, but no, it's been really, really good. It's been really, really good. So, I'm not trying to like, you know, like white knight for this game or anything like that. I mean, there's some issues, but overall, like my experience for testing, like has been really solid. The communication has been really solid. Now, if you were to ask me, what's from a scale from 1 to 10, what is the communication like between me and the developers? A 10. Like I said, Planet Orf was playing with me in Discord. We were playing together and I was telling him about my experience and telling him like how I felt and like how certain things were and how and how I wish that this thing could be better and that thing could be done and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I agree with you. Like, yeah, we've actually heard that feedback, or like, oh, that's good feedback or whatever. Like, and again, this is why a lot of the stuff was under NDA, because if I was in the test like weeks ago, I would basically have just nothing but bad things to probably say about it. You know? And so that's why certain things are under NDA, because you need to have those people go and test, break certain systems, break certain things, so that way we can start fixing and getting those things good. So that way when it's not under NDA anymore, a lot of those severe flaws and issues are gone, right? Oh, it makes me happy to see the improvements in such a short time. Absolutely, dude. And this is why they've been in crunch, man. They've been doing this stuff for a while. You see, IG testing chat is full of things like looking level 12 cleric looking for G. Yes, dude, exactly. It's very social. I really love seeing all that stuff. And I really also love seeing like I went to the Firebrand area and I saw Firebrand just chilling in his idle state just there. And as soon as I got near like his area, the freaking music started too. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, I'm not going to get too close, but I thought that was really cool. Like, that's the thing that I love about this game, is that you can see shit at a distance. Like, you know, the tower, right? The Tower of Carfin. And you're like, damn, like that's like this monument that's there, right? And there's several things like that in the Riverlands that you can just look from afar. And just like, oh yeah, that's that thing. Like, and you like, as you start getting closer, like it's just like, oh shit, you know, it's like, I don't know, like I love that. I love that sense of you're looking at something, you can see it from afar, and it creates that like allure and mystery and just like the magical fantasy of it all. You know, Ash of the Creation really captures that to like a really good degree. Let me see. The shit show was the first tests. Meshing was incredibly bad. Borders took 30 seconds to cross. Desync through the roof. The improvements are insane, or now insane. Yes. How much were you able to play? I was able to play all the way to level 6. I was able to explore like a good small chunk of it. I really didn't explore like a lot of it. There's a lot of areas I didn't get to explore. I got to hear people talk about certain nodes and certain like monuments that are there in those nodes. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting, man. Like, it's going to be really cool. Like, I can't wait, because I'm probably tomorrow or sometime this week, I'm going to make a video kind of giving my very summarized thoughts, maybe like in an 8 to 10 minute video on YouTube. Just kind of giving my thoughts on oh, Hulk Gaming, thank you so much for the follow, man. And then we got DJ Flemmy Flem. Thank you so much for the sub, dude. Thank you. Let me see. How is the chat system looking? Is it one chat for everything, for different chats, for global? Yes. So you have tabs, right? So it's just one chat, and then you have different tabs that you click onto. So you have like your party chat, your global chat, your local chat, your node chat. Like, it's very good actually for an alpha. Most alphas have very functional chats that are just basic shit. So yeah, very, very good. Do you think there might be a chance they will keep up servers longer than the weekend for phase 1, like in pre-alpha 2 tests? Oh my God, that is my hope, dude. I just 3 days, but I also feel like the reason why they're doing that is because they need people offline for them to work like in the game and in the client. Like there's only so much hot fixing you can do. This is why, you know, servers need to be offline so the devs can really get in there and dig out the bad shit, you know, like fix the stuff that needs to be fixed. You know what I mean? Let me see, how many variety of mobs were there in the testing? In my small little area that I did, there were the flowers. Remember the flowers that you saw during the UE5 showcase, the luminescent flowers? There's that mob, wolves, goblins, footmen, like there's like regular human people. What else? Undead, the shrooms. There's like little like squirrel pig things. Otters. And there's several. I mean, the gremlins. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, again, and this is just in the small portion in the Lion's Hold area, right? There's probably other types that I didn't even encounter because they're probably just in other areas. Ravens. Oh yeah, I didn't even see ravens. How did PvP feel against players feel? So Richie tried to duel me in Lion's Hold and someone killed him. It was so funny because he's like, all right, Vlad, I'm gonna attack you. And I was like, oh shit. So then as soon as he attacked me, this level 13 one shot Richie because we were both like level 6. And it was so funny, dude. I was like, oh shit, Richie, you just got decimated. He's like, did you do that? I was like, no, there's a level 13 right there that just literally one shot you as soon as you start attacking me. And he went corrupted. It was, I died. I fucking died. But yeah, I haven't really got to experience the PvP just yet. And again, there's some stuff I want to experience like with you guys. Like once we get into the Alpha 2 and once we start playing the game, I really want like to experience a lot of the stuff like, and having that very fresh Vladis shocked face, you know, experience kind of, you know, with you guys. Vladis, no, with the server tech, they can spin up whatever server they want, fix it, then swap live to that version. It'll push patch. It's a real game changer, more than people know. Really? Well, dude, that's fucking awesome then. If they can do that, then why can't they fucking just leave the servers up 24/7, man? Like seriously, like, oh, it's gonna be really hard because I get to, like, again, you know, after stream right now, I can just go and play Ashes if I want to. And it's been really nice. But it's gonna feel like, oh my god, like once the 25th happens, it's nice because now we can stream it, we can talk about it as a community, but I only can play it during this weekend. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna kind of suck. How accessible were other nodes in testing? How hard was it to get to the non-starter areas? So that was also fixed because apparently there were mobs in the roads that were kind of preventing people from basically going from point A to point B. Like if they were trekking from Lion's Hold to Marileth or to New Ayla or to Winstead, there was some, because again, once you get outside of there, now there's like level 10 mobs, level 12 mobs. So if you're like level 2, it was kind of a trek. It was kind of a bitch to get from point A to point B in that sense. But apparently they fixed a lot of the mob pathing and actually removed some mobs that were actually active on the road areas. So that way you can actually better get to the node of your choosing. So that's also been in the game as well. Let me see what else. I'm hoping that the servers on the 25th will be semi-persistent with PTR pushing updates. I mean, again, guys, I don't think they're going to go past the 3 days. They said they were going to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's what they said they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to go past that and just say, hey, we're going to give you guys 24/7 access. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't mind it. I don't think that's going to be in the cards. Having 24/7 servers would break the gaming world. People would come to us with their own main game is down. Yeah, basically. I think it would really help Intrepid because people would buy keys to go and play this game. But I think also having lack of context to what this game is trying to do in this time would also give a negative spin to a lot of people that don't know the project or don't know why this game is is happening, dude. I've seen you people say, oh, is early access happening on Friday? Again, that goes to show you like what new people know about this game. You know, this is why like people like myself, other content creators need to stress to the people that are coming in for the very first time or don't know this project as well as I do, as well as we do as a community, to say these things. Because again, you have one streamer that may say something completely out of context or out of pocket, and it could be like a really big streamer that thinks they know about the project, but they really don't. And then now all these new people are coming into the community with bad information, basically. And we have to kind of correct them, right? Or we have to tell them like, hey, this isn't like early access. This is like a true alpha of an MMO. And, you know, oh, I was listening to X streamer and they said this and I didn't know, you know what I mean? And it's not their fault. It's just, it is what it is. The reason why they are taking things down and only running a few days is hardware related. They need to reconfigure hardware. That takes time. See, I knew there had to be a reason. Like I knew there had to be some kind of a reason for it. It doesn't help when you have people like Blue say that it's a launch of a game. Yeah. And I think that's also going to happen more and more. You're going to have people like him give bad information out to people. Riverlands is the main content location, but Tropics and Desert are available at Lawless Zones. I'd push for 1 week up, 3 weeks down for phase 1. I don't know if I would want that personally. I don't know. It's something to look forward to for the weekends. Let me see. Well, into massive transparent banner on screen says in development. Yeah, I think I actually might have something like that, to where, you know, kind of like what I had here when it says verbal NDA. I think I might have something like that. We'll see. Like I said, as we get closer, we'll see. Yeah, you have to think that less than 10% of the gaming community has even heard of this game. Yes, and again, the less than that 10% probably don't have accurate information about this game, right? So it's very much like, I don't know. It's very much going to be like a different kind of experience. How many here were in testing? Oh, we have several people in this chat that have been in testing for sure. Well, guys, as much as I want to keep streaming, I was not planning on streaming today at all. I'm probably going to do a video this coming up week. But yes, I streamed for 2 hours for you guys. I'm going to go hang out with my wife, like I said I was. But dude, thank you all so much for hanging out. And just hearing what I have to say about this. There's so much more to say too. I got to kind of lay out all my thoughts on paper so I can really give you guys a deep dive into how I feel. I also, will, because I need to probably update my computer, guys. I have an old i5 processor that's like 8th or 9th generation. It's an old processor. The only thing I've updated from this computer was my graphics card, because I had like a 1080 graphics card, or it was like a 9. It was like, I think the generation before the 1080s. And I updated it to 2060 Super. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like a sub goal so to help me out to build like a new computer, because I really need to do a new computer before we get into phase 3 of next year. So that way all my subs, all the money that you guys donate to the channel and stuff like that is going to go directly to a new computer for me. But yeah, thank you guys so much, guys. If you are new to the channel or new to Ashes of Creation, my name is Vladis. I do Ashes of Creation content creation. I'm going to be streaming the Alpha 2 come this Friday. So follow me on Twitch if you're watching me on Twitch. If you're following me on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, man. It will keep you up to date with all the videos that I'm going to do coming up, because I have a slew of videos, especially once we go live. So if you're wanting to follow somebody that's going to be testing the project, talking about the project, come and follow me. Like, we're going to have a great time, guys. I literally cannot wait. The long wait is over, dude. Hangman, you cannot have said it well enough, man. Let me see. Nucky Skolvatsky, dude, thank you so much for the follow. And then we got Baka Stable, dude, thank you so much for the follow too. And Gruffy Gregels, thank you so much for the sub, dude. Thank you. Very much appreciated, guys. You guys have a great and solid rest of your all's work week. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a great weekend, guys.